Some people restart their life every Monday like it's a video game they keep losing. New diet, new routine, new goals. And by Wednesday, they're already Googling how to fix my life again. If this feels a little familiar, congratulations, you're human. All right, let's talk. Because if you're tired of always beginning again, always rebooting your motivation, always rewriting the same promises to yourself, I want to show you something that took me years to understand. And once I understood it, I stopped resetting and started actually growing. Sit with me like two friends. One slightly wiser, slightly funnier friend, talking to you with a cup of coffee that he will absolutely spill at some point. That's me. Let's dive in. Every week, you tell yourself, this time it will be different. You feel good. You feel hopeful. You feel like a new version of you just downloaded. But here's the truth nobody likes to admit. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you're trying to create a new life while still living inside your old systems. It's like trying to become a focused monk while living inside a nightclub. Great idea, bad environment. And here's something funny I noticed about people who constantly start over. They're not lazy. They're not broken. They're actually extremely ambitious. Your standards are high. Your vision is big. You want your life to look radically different. But big vision, without structure, becomes a weekly emotional roller coaster. Let me show you why you restart every week with absolute simplicity, like a stick figure holding a brain and looking confused. Reason number one, you chase the feeling, not the system. You love the feeling of a fresh start. A new week feels like a second chance at everything you've ever wanted. But feelings fade. Systems survive. Look at someone like Lionel Messi. People say he's naturally talented, sure. But what made him unstoppable wasn't the feeling of being inspired. It was the routine built through years of boring, repeated drills. Imagine if Messi woke up every Monday saying, this week, I'm a new man. I will try a new routine. He'd be playing football like my uncle. Pure chaos. The great ones don't restart. They refine, you're restarting. Reason number two, you treat life like a sprint. The Monday version of you is basically an Olympian. He makes a perfect schedule. He decides to work out, study, become a millionaire, eat clean, meditate, become fluent in Japanese, and probably invent a cure for something. Monday, you has main character energy. Tuesday, you wonders why. Monday, you thought you were Superman. Wednesday, you disappears like a side character who lost his script. Weekly restarters don't pace themselves. They burn out, then reset. Imagine a stick figure running full speed, then collapsing, then standing up again every week. That's you. And it's adorable, but painful. Reason number three, you rely on motivation like it's a reliable fuel. Motivation is like the weather. Nice when it's sunny, but you cannot build your life around it. People waste years waiting for the right mood to do the right things. Consistency doesn't come from mood. Consistency comes from identity. Let me say that again, slowly. Like a wise old turtle in an animated movie. Consistency comes from identity. If you identify as someone trying to improve, you will always restart. If you identify as someone who lives this way, you won't. Now, let's get practical. Because this video isn't about telling you motivational quotes. It's about turning your life into something sustainable, something stable, something that doesn't fall apart every single week. I want to give you a framework, a simple one that stops the cycle of restarting. And the beauty of this is, any animator could draw it with three shapes and a confused little stick person. Step one, build a tiny daily anchor. This is the opposite of a complete life overhaul. This is the one thing you do, even on bad days, that keeps the identity alive. If you want fitness, a 2-minute walk. If you want focus, 10 minutes of deep work. If you want peace, a short stillness ritual. I talk about this a lot in my Wise Joe ebooks. An anchor is not meant to change your life today. It's meant to stop you from starting over tomorrow. Tiny anchors are like emotional seatbelts. They don't feel heroic, but they keep your life stable. Step two, accept smaller wins with big respect. Weekly restarters only respect dramatic progress. They love perfection more than change. If they read for 10 minutes instead of 1 hour, they don't feel proud. They feel like they failed. If they eat clean for 4 days but mess up once, They declare the whole week ruined. Then they restart next Monday. Your standards are not too high, they're too fragile. Let me say that again because someone needs to hear it. Your standards are not too high, they're too fragile. When your standards break easily, your identity breaks with them. Start celebrating small but real. That is how momentum begins. Step 3. Create a weekly floor, not a weekly ceiling. Most people plan their ceiling. They say, this week I'll work out 6 times. I'll study 3 hours every day. I'll do all of this perfectly. A ceiling is your best case scenario. But life is not a best case simulator. What you need is a floor, a minimum. Something you do even on low energy days. A floor makes you consistent. A ceiling makes you delusional. Keep your ceilings flexible. Make your floors non-negotiable. This alone will change your entire year. Step 4. Learn the art of continuing without restarting. When you fall off, because you will, your job is not to restart. Your job is to resume. Not begin again, just continue. This sounds like a tiny difference, but mentally, it's huge. Restarting means you erase everything. Resuming means you pick up where you left off, even if it wasn't pretty. I once watched an interview with Denzel Washington. He said something powerful. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Read that again. You restarting every week is you choosing ease. Resuming is harder, but it builds your backbone. Let me tell you something personal. I used to restart my life like a seasonal update. Every Monday I said, this time I'll stick to it. And by Wednesday, the universe said, cute, sit down. I wasn't failing because I was lazy. I was failing because I believed in dramatic rebirth instead of gradual strengthening. Change doesn't need fireworks. It needs repetition, and that's why I talk so much about identity and stillness in my wisejoe ebooks. Because until your inner pace slows down and stabilizes, your life will always behave like a bouncy ball in a hallway. Now let me give you something you can do today. Not next week, not after the video ends. Take one area of your life, just one. Don't be the overachiever who tries to fix everything at once. Choose fitness, or focus, or confidence, or rest. Pick the area that's been bothering you the most, the one that makes you sigh when you think about it. Got it? Good. Now answer this simple question. What tiny action can you do daily that keeps you from starting over? Not a big action, not a heroic action, a tiny anchor. Write it down, not as a promise, as an identity marker, because people don't rise to their goals. They fall to their systems. And your system, your real one, is built from the small things you actually do, not the large things you dream about doing. Let's talk about something else that keeps you restarting. You think a perfect week proves something. You think a flawless routine means you're finally becoming the person you want to be. But perfect weeks are a lie. Life is messy. Humans are inconsistent. Even the greats have off days. Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian in history, struggled with depression, identity loss, and burnout. He wasn't a machine. He was a man learning to continue, not restart. One line from one of his interviews stuck with me. He said, I had to learn to be there for myself on the days I wasn't winning. Sit with that. You need to be there for yourself on the days you're not winning. Those are the days that define the year. Anyone can be consistent when they feel amazing. Champions are consistent when they feel average. Let me paint you a simple stick figure image. One stick figure climbs a ladder, but falls every week. So he climbs again, fall again, climbs again, falls again. Another stick figure climbs the ladder, slips down 2 steps, but doesn't start over. He just climbs again. After 1 year, who wins? Not the one who restarts, the one who resumes. Life is not about perfect climbs. It's about imperfect continuation. Here's something people rarely think about. Starting over gives your brain a dopamine spike. It feels fresh, it feels clean, it feels like you wiped the past away. Continuing after messing up, that gives no dopamine. It's boring. It's humbling. It challenges your ego. But that boring moment, that humble act of resuming, that is where identity changes. If you're watching this and you feel something in your chest, maybe frustration, maybe recognition, don't ignore it. That feeling is your mind saying, this is the year I stop resetting. Maybe say the word continue out loud, or write it in the comments. Not as a request from me, but as a commitment to yourself. Continue, such a simple word, such a powerful shift. Let's go deeper, because I want this video to do more than motivate you. I want it to trigger a real psychological shift. Why do you restart every week? Because restarting protects your ego. It creates the illusion of progress. You feel like you're doing something meaningful, but you're actually avoiding the discomfort of staying in the middle. The middle is messy. The middle exposes your flaws. The middle reveals your real patterns. Restarting hides all that. Continuation reveals all of it. But you need the truth if you want change. So here's a mental reframe that saved me. You don't need a new week. You need a new response. A missed Monday? Continue. A bad mood? Continue. A low energy week? Continue. A complete collapse? Continue anyway. Imagine if your life didn't have a reset button. Imagine if you had to live with the truth of your habits. That would force growth. Weekly resetting keeps you small. Daily continuation makes you powerful. Now let's talk about your identity. Every time you restart, you reinforce the identity of someone who quits and needs a fresh start. But every time you continue, even after a mistake, you reinforce the identity of someone who is consistent. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is stubborn continuation. Let that sentence sink in. Consistency's stubborn continuation. In every culture, in every country, in every age, the people who rise are not the ones with the perfect path. They're the ones who refuse to start all over again. Let me end with this. When you die, not to get dramatic, but let's be honest, you won't be remembered for the weeks you tried to start fresh. You'll be remembered for the habits you lived, the habits that shaped you, the habits that defined you, the habits that made your life yours. And habits only form when you stop restarting. So today, this moment, this second, I want you to think about the version of you who doesn't reset every week, the version of you who continues, the version of you who builds a stable identity. Picture that person. Picture them in stick figure style, simple but strong. And then say this quietly to yourself. Continue. Your life changes when that word becomes who you are.